Hey, Steve Stein here again, and today what I'd like to do is talk to you about synchronization points. When you're trying to learn how to play something faster, whether it's a scale or a pattern that you've learned or something like that, oftentimes what we can do is we can kind of fake our way through and, people go, wow, that's really cool. And they go, wow, that sounds really great. But the most important part for me is going in there and actually trying to figure out what you're doing and how you're doing it so you can actually make it sound clean and articulate and really make that thing attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a couple of different patterns here, and I'm going to explain to you how I practice them over and over and over to make my playing more effective. Now, I firmly believe that every single one of us on the planet can always do better. Every day we can find a way of doing better at all kinds of different things. And guitar playing is no exception. So what I tend to teach people how to do, let's say, for instance, I was doing something with the E minor or G major scale, however you want to look at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Okay? Those are the notes that I'm going to be using in this example. Okay? Now, it's certainly going to help to be able to visualize those a little bit, but you'll be able to see it better once I get playing with this exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to build our way forward using groups of 3. So I'm going to play 5, 7, 8, and then I'm going to play 7, 8, 10, and then 8, 10, 12, then 10, 12, 14, then 12, 14, 15. So it looks like this. Now, my approach to this would certainly be to alternate pick this. So I'm just doing down, up, downs the whole time. And what I have to be aware of is every time I want to move to a new position, my first finger has got to get ready. So you'll see every time I move up, when I get to my pinky, my whole hand kind of crinks up and I get ready on the next note. Okay? But the second part of that is learning to pinpoint, okay, where your picking is going to synchronize with this thing. It's really important to learn how to do that, okay? So as I'm playing, what I'm doing is I'm just plotting these spaces where I'm going to be aware of where I am in my down picking and my up picking. So if you think about it, when I do the first thing, I'm playing down, up, down. Which means that as I start the next pattern, I'm starting on an upstroke. So that's the first spot that I start trying to synchronize. Now, it doesn't have to be as fast as humanly possible, but I need to get comfortable with how that feels to do this shift with my left hand and pick with my right hand and line those up. Which means now when I get to the 7th fret, I'm going to be doing up, down, up. So I'm ending this with an upstroke. And I should feel the pull of that last upstroke. See, if my brain is still wrapped around where my 5 is or my 7 is or my 8 is or what finger I'm going to use, there's no purpose in even trying to play this any faster than that until your brain has sort of wrapped around that idea and it just accepts it. So you're not thinking about it anymore. Because if you're thinking about that, there's no way you can think about this. Okay, there's only so many things you can think about at once, right? So as we're doing this, I keep trying to synchronize those notes. But it started with these downs that connected to this first up. So it's really important that I get that up connected. And once I get that, then I can add the rest of these. You see? Now, if you think about it, I'm going to have to start all over again because I now am going to start with a downstroke. And then I'm going to play down, up, and then up, up again. Okay? But, of course, the pattern that I'm playing is a little bit different because I played 5, 7, 8. Now I played 7, 8, 10. Well, now I'm going to play 8, 10, 12. So I have to get used to this feeling as well. Before I ever start worrying about this, I need to get comfortable with what this hand is actually trying to do over here. Now for me, just, let's just summarize this, right? I mean, you're going down, up, 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 down. That's what you're doing. Now for me, what is not effective is just doing that over and over and over all the way for an hour. That's not where I gain my speed from. What my speed comes from is breaking it down into smaller pieces. That might not work for you. But for me, it very much comes from like I'll sit and do that for 10 minutes, just that, or 20 minutes. And then I'll add the next one. Just over and over and over. But what I'm doing is I'm making it aware in my head of where those connections are, where the downstrokes are, where the upstrokes are. I'm plotting those points, okay? I'm making those connections right there. And then when I get here, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I've got a down right there. You see? And I just keep doing that all the way through. And I just keep breaking them down. So it's not how fast can I get through this whole thing. It's not that. It's how comfortable can I make this as I'm playing. So I may only get through 1 or 2, maybe just 2 weeks. And that's all I get for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That's okay. It doesn't have to be the whole sequence. I mean, the sequence obviously can get longer than what I'm showing you right now too, right? But once you get the idea of how it works, making it longer becomes easier because you've already kind of plotted where those connections are going to be to make that synchronization work for you. See, so that's what I would do is using a metronome obviously is a wonderful idea, but before you ever use your metronome, first start with just getting comfortable with understanding how this thing is kind of ribboned together with your hands. Then you can start working with a metronome. Because if you're not really comfortable with doing an up at the, with the first note or a down with the next note or whatever it might be, the metronome isn't going to help you. Okay. So you just need to develop the comfortability of what you're trying to do. And then all of a sudden what I do is I don't see it as each note. I see it more as starting with a down and ending with an up. So the whole thing becomes kind of one thing. And then the next one ends with a down. And it just keeps going that way as I play. And that's how I start building these things for better synchronization. Now, I'm going to show you one other one that I'd like you to try. And again, there's no hurry on these things. I just want to show you this. So this one's going to be using the same idea, only this time I'm going to start up here on 15. And I'm going to work my way down playing 15, same notes. 15, 14, 12, 10, 8, 7, 5. Okay? So this time what I'm doing is going like this. Okay? Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm playing groups of 4. When I was going up, I was doing 3s, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, now I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm just moving down 1 and going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we could keep going, but we're just stopping on the 5 here. But again, we could go anywhere we want. So the trick here is getting used to my initial pattern of 4. What am I doing? I'm playing down, up, down, up. And I need to start with that. See? And then what I need to do is make a connection again. So what I'm going to do is I'm ending with an up, down, up, down, up. So I want to connect to the down right there. Before I ever worry about trying to connect all these patterns together, I just want to make a connection in my brain and with my fingers and my hands of that down. And you'll notice what happens then is the shape is going to keep changing over here relative to the scale I'm playing, but I'm always targeting that down of the next shape. See, there's that down every time. Down, 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 down. So as I play, you see? That's where all of a sudden that natural speed starts taking over, but I need to know what I'm trying to do. I need to be able to visualize it. I need to make sure I've got the proper fingers for each thing that I'm trying to play. And once I've got all that in place, then I start trying to plot these down strums or these up strums, try and make some sort of synchronization between them by knowing where to plot each one of these things as I go. If I just go like this, then I just wind up with slop again because I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I want to do, but my fingers don't understand the process. So the trick is to break everything down nice and comfortably. And we can do these in a million different ways across the guitar, but that's how I practice scales and patterns and different kinds of things like that to get fast. Because people are always asking, well, how do you get faster at stuff? That's how I do it. Okay, I just take whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I can take a scale. And I try and figure out what am I trying to do here? Okay, can I see what I want? Have I decided what fingers I want to use? And if I have, then I have to start. Then I start trying to connect these things together. And again, I've been doing this for a while, so it comes fairly, I wouldn't say easy because that's not true, but the process makes sense to me. So if I ever come across a song that I really like, or a solo or a lick that I really like, or a video that I really like, or whatever, I go, wow, that's really neat. I want to learn how to do that. Okay, I have to put it in one of the banks in my brain. Either it's a memorization thing, like a scale or something like that, or an understanding thing, like a theory idea, or what I call a, theory of rock and roll idea. Or it's a technical thing where I have to figure out how this works. And either I've got that particular technique already developed, so it comes fairly easily, or I don't. And if I don't, I have to figure out what it is I'm trying to do before I ever start worrying about how fast I can make it. So work with these a little bit. You got to be patient though, because again, don't think of the end result as being speed. Think of the end result as being connectivity. Understanding of how this is connecting together. Once you get there, all of a sudden, for me, it's almost like I can kind of move away. I can kind of go back into a bird's eye view, and I'm not stuck thinking about 5s and 7s and 8s and 10s. I've already got that down. What I'm more concerned with is how it feels as I'm playing to start locking these pieces together like Lego pieces. That's what I'm doing. So hopefully that works for a little bit for you, and I hope you have some